What's good, y'all? It's Pod.cannion. I'm back with another reaction video. Got another X7 video. I say that different every time, but y'all know who I'm talking about. He's talking about this time that Frank Ocean fought Chris Brown, if I'm right. I just thought this one would be interesting because it's been a minute since I've revisited this situation, but if I'm correct, I really do think Frank Ocean threw the hands with Chris Brown, bro. Yo, that shit is great. Like, this nigga keeps bringing me back to like old times when like I was really like, you know what I'm saying, where I was really like studying hip hop and like, you know what I'm saying, going back like that shit actually happened. So yeah, I really am fucking with this guy's videos right here. Longer video than usual. Hey man, get your bag however means you need to do it. So we're not gonna waste too many time. Like, subscribe, all that. Check out XEVI. He's who I'm reacting to. The day everyone found out how dangerous Frank Ocean was. Let's go. Oh. Let's
had a
go.
problem. There was this guy talking crazy about him online, and this guy's name was Chris Brown. Now, he didn't say Tyler's name, but he was talking about him. Chris Brown's words were, "This demonic music gotta go." Now, if you don't know anything about Tyler at this time, he's not the Tyler you know today. He made what some would call very intense lyrics. Now, this was clearly directed at Tyler. Tyler and his group, Odd Future, Wolfgang, them all were the subject of everything wrong with youth culture. They were the poster children of saying bad lyrics. And well, if you know anything about Tyler and his group at this time, the lyrics were a little intense. Now, there's another person that was in their group, and that person's name was Frank Ocean. Tyler basically responded, "You corny." Chris Brown didn't like that very much. Now, Chris decides to go full nuclear, says, "I want all the smoke," and decides to just start throwing shots at Frank as well. Now, this makes sense. I need you to listen. Frank Ocean was making a buzz in the R&B space. Tyler was making a buzz in the rap space. Chris Brown is part of the R&B space. So it makes sense that Chris Brown started targeting Frank. Chris Brown said, "I like Frank. He reminds me of this one singer." Now, the singer he mentioned was mainly a writer, which is actually a huge insult to Frank. If you know anything about how he got his career started, Frank Ocean was trapped as a writer for his record label for a very long time. And if you know anything about the music industry, what record labels like to do is they like to trap people as writers for their bigger artists. Sia is one of those people. Frank Ocean is a famous one. I can't remember anyone else. It was a huge insult. He's basically saying you're going to be a writer forever. Let the real artists do their thing, in so many words. And Frank Ocean hated his position, trapped as just a writer. That's why he released Channel Orange for free without his label's help, because he was trapped as just a writer. Kanye West, he was trapped as just a producer. They trapped people as producers as well. So Kanye had to release his own thing by himself independently from his label to prove to his label that he could do it for free. So all this is encompassed in Chris Brown's one tweet. Frank Ocean says, "Hey, you know what? I like Chris too. You know who he reminds me of? That one singer, Ike Turner." Ike Turner. Let's just say Ike Turner and Chris Brown have a lot in common as well. Chris crazy like that very much. So he says, "Hey Frank." Tyler says, "Hold on, stupid, I ain't finished."
He said, "I'm not done."
The creator begins to go on a tirade. Tweet saying, "Chris, you stupid. Chris, you ugly. Chris,
that's the classic Tyler we love.
Chris, you trash. You like the women." Chris clearly doesn't like that very much. Again, he says, Odd Future hops in and says, "Hold on, you was talking about our boys, you was talking about our group.
This nigga's getting jumped." I love to see it.
Chris is getting jumped.
Yes, he is.
Snaps it to, "Hey, pull up then. We don't gotta do all this talking. I was at your city, Tyler. You wasn't there. So you saw." Tyler, the creator, to everyone's surprise, responds by saying, "I was in your city though, Chris, and I ain't seen you. So I don't want to hear all this talking. I'm with it."
He said, "I'm with it."
Oh, Tyler, okay. Frank decides to take it a step further though. Frank doesn't do no talking. Frank
just pulled up.
Pulls up. Chris Brown is recording. Starts waiting outside of the studio for Chris Brown. Now Frank hops back in his whip. Why he hops back in his whip? Because a few people start walking towards him. A few people associated with Chris Brown telling him, come here. Frank pulls off. The people hop in their whip and pull off towards him. A high-speed chase goes down in L.A.
Insane.
Maybe a normal speed chase. Them boys just following him. They put him on camera. They start screaming, hey, bro. You was doing all that talking. What's going on now? Now, these people are Chris Brown's cousins. Frank's response is, I don't know you. I want to box Chris. Okay. Why are you running, though? He says, I'm not running. I just want to box Chris. One of the dudes in the car, an LA street dude for real, I don't want to mention his name, he says he was embarrassed by the story. He says, okay, he kind of respected Frank's response because Frank did a few things correctly. Now, if you don't know anything about hood culture, you've never been to a hood, let me explain. So, step one, Frank didn't just fully ignore them and keep driving. That would have been corny. Frank didn't just start yelling, knucking and bucking, but not boxing. That would have been corny. Frank didn't immediately speed off in a panic. That would have been corny. Now, Chris Brown's cousins start really getting hyped, really start knucking and bucking, start screaming at him at this point. They're telling him, we know where Chris is at. Come to the studio. We're going to show you where he's at. Now, what do you do in this situation? A, say, no, I'd rather just go my merry way. Or B, sure, it's going to be a fair one-on-one fight. Take me to Chris Brown. If you chose B, you're green. A little slow, but I still rock with you. The answer is what Frank Ocean did. He said, oh no. He's up to something.
Obviously, nigga.
Speeds off.
Like, come on now.
Right? A normal speed chase, people yelling at each other, it starts popping up online. Chris Brown, Tyler, the Creator, everybody's trying to make it in music. Chris Brown's like, you know what? That was a little intense, right, y'all? That's corny. Tyler says the same thing. That's corny. Frank doesn't say anything. But moving on. It all everyone's having a good time. Then Frank comes out and says he's gay. Now, this may not be intense in 2024, but back in the day, if you are a rap associated artist and you come out as gay,
was on his ass.
Massive deal.
In the rap space, bro, niggas was on his ass.
It's kind of like what happened to Lil Nas X. When
exactly.
Came out, Lil Nas X was rising, but when he came out as gay, it gave him a whole new push. Same thing happened to Frank Ocean. Now, for the most part, people are like, okay, cool, he made
it did for a little bit.
Something comes out that Chris Brown wasn't very supportive, you know let's just say. But Chris Brown comes out and says, those are all rumors, that's all cap, love who you want to love. No one knows how Frank took this or if he was mad at the first situation and just never got over it, but this all comes to a head when Chris Brown is recording in Los Angeles, California. By the way, if you didn't know by now, Tyler, the Creator, Frank Ocean, based out of Los Angeles, California. Frank drives up to the studio he usually records at. I told you Chris Brown was recording, right? He's recording in that very same studio.
Of course, they're the same studio.
He's parked in a parking spot that Franklin usually parks at. Frank parks in front of Chris's car so Chris can't leave. Now, Chris Brown comes out. He says, hey, someone's blocking my car. Who's blocking my car? They say, Frank is blocking your car. This is usually where he parks. Chris goes, oh, well, can you tell him to move his car, please? Frank says, you was parking in my spot, boy. Chris goes, slow down. We don't want an incident. It's all good. Chris extends his hand out to be shaked. Frank goes, I ain't touching you, son. Chris goes, okay, no big deal. Chris swings on the boy, and a whole brawl ensues. Now, Frank claims that 3 dudes was on top of him. You know, they was doing their thing on him. Frank has some people there with him as well. There's so many conflicting stories. Let's just say they got into a, Chris gets pulled out because he hurts his hand, but the brawl is still ensuing. Now, I got the inside scoop from here.
All right, let me hear this.
Rumor has it that Vince Staples himself is the reason why the brawl stopped. Why?
Really?
Because Vince decides to bring out the...
Of course, this nigga.
Right, Vince. Ha ha ha. The funny guy.
Of course. No, I dead ass believe that. Like, no, that checks out. That checks out completely.
Associates that
No cap,
your
bro.
parents probably wouldn't want you to be around. Also, fun fact, Vincent's from the same place.
I was like, that doesn't make sense, but yeah, the way he, yeah, that makes sense.
Also, really like
That
the
checks
color
out.
blue. Now, Frank is friends with Vince because Vince is an associate of the group Odd Future Wolfgang them all. He was never officially part of the group, but he was really close
though.
Their fans like his fans like their fans. Cool.
Yeah.
So he says, "What's going on?" Everybody says, "Whoa, big dog, you got it." Everyone disperses. But the crazy part about all this were the main headlines are really Chris Brown is going head to head against up and coming artists. They weren't the Frank and Tyler the Creator that you know today. See, after this, Frank then goes on to hop on Jay-Z
Then he
and
gets
Kanye's song, No Church in the Wild. He starts coming out with songs that were sensational in their own right. He's on many artists' things, then he gets thrust into the spotlight. Obviously, Tyler the Creator does what Tyler the Creator does. Some can say revenge is the best medicine, but well, that's up to you to decide.
No, that was a good video, I can't lie. And yeah, that was a... See, I didn't know Vince Staples was a part of it. So I'm glad I watched this video. Cause like, I knew like they were going back and forth, internet shit. It's always good to go back and look at those times because like, damn. It's just nostalgic looking at like the rap space now versus like back then. Like, I don't know, bruh. I guess just the mystery of people were just much more exciting. Like it was only hearsay.